Today, at KSJ 23, we are beginning a new segment focusing on those who have an impact on world geography. We begin our series with Richard Nixon. April 22nd will mark the 25th anniversary of President Nixon's passing. California Governor Pete Wilson will mark the occasion with a wreath laying at the Nixon Foundation and Library. Our own Jacob DeBrava and Aidan Steinmetz will take a look into the life and times of Richard Nixon.
Thank you, Salito. I'm here with Georgetown's Foreign Policy Professor, Matthew DeBrava. Matthew, thank you. Let's begin with Nixon's personal life.
Richard Nixon was born January 9, 1913 in Yorba Linda, California to Frank and Hannah Nixon, and was the second of 5 kids. He was a strong student and was accepted to Harvard, but the family couldn't afford it. Instead, he went to Whittier College. He received a full ride to Duke Law, graduating third in his class. In 1940, he married Pat Ryan and had 2 daughters.
And what about his early career?
He began in a law firm and then worked for FDR. Nixon joined the Navy during World War II and rose to lieutenant commander.
And his impact on our nation?
Beginning in the House as a Republican, he traveled to Europe after the devastation of World War II to help stabilize those nations economically and politically and deter the influence of communism. He ran as VP with Eisenhower and won in 52 and 56. They formalized the responsibilities of VP in the event of presidential disability, which became the 25th Amendment. And in world geography, he made foreign trips of goodwill to gain support for American policies during the Cold War.
His presidential elections?
He lost his first run against JFK, but ran in '68 campaigning for the resolution in Vietnam and won against Humphrey. On January 20th, 1969, he became the 37th President of the United States and said, "The greatest honor that history can bestow is the title of peacemaker."
Any other areas of positive impact?
With minorities, he began with school desegregation, and Native Americans, he established federal Native American policies. And with the environment, he knew the importance of HEI and launched the National Environmental Policy Act and the Clean Air and Clean Water Act.
Lastly, what other areas of foreign policy did Nixon oversee?
Nixon hoped to change the dynamics of the Cold War and wanted to align China closer to the US than Russia. So in '72, he agreed to a roadmap of peace with China, and he signed the limitation of strategic arms with the Soviets. In world geography, he knew the importance of US policies.
Thank you, Matthew. And back to you, Salil.
During his second-term campaign, things began to change for Nixon. He put an incredible amount of effort to resolve the Vietnam War and was fearful that the new candidate would take credit. Nixon made choices that would ultimately end his presidency. This was known as Watergate. Here is historic footage of Nixon and his chief of staff.
The CIA director, everything's going to be all right. Tell the press that the Nixon administration fully denies any accusation that we were involved in regards to Watergate.
And what if they ask about the cover-up?
Cover-up? The Nixon administration fully denies any accusation about anything to do with Watergate and corruption.
What about the tapes?
Tapes. Oh yeah, we have not found anything. Okay? Yes. We need to get rid of the recordings.
How will we get rid of them?
You can, I don't know, burn them, acid wash them, destroy them, hammer them, turn them into oblivion. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Okay? Get rid of them.
Soon after, Ford gave Nixon a full pardon for all offenses against the U.S. This was not the end of Nixon's impact. Here is a historic 1994 one-on-one interview with Aidan Steinmetz and Nixon.
Thank you for this opportunity. Despite the events of Watergate, there are many things you did to help the nation before and after your resignation. Please share.
Well, under my administration, from January '73 to August of '74, I made an impact, particularly in world geography. During summits 2 and 3, I signed the Prevention of Nuclear War Agreement with the Soviets. Also, in '73, I signed the agreement to end the war and restore peace to Vietnam with South Vietnam, North Vietnam, and VHR. I asked Congress to provide military aid to Israel to show that the Soviets cannot control us.
Okay, and aside from your resignation, this was not the end of your influence on the nation.
Correct. Over the next couple of decades, I helped influence 5 future presidents who understood my strengths, especially my foreign policies. In fact, Reagan, who was also able to end the Cold War influence, in part by me. In terms of world geography, I shared with sitting presidents the importance of keeping the U.S. policies strong in the outside nations.
That was very interesting. You also became a well-known author.
Yes, I wrote 10 books. One of them is called The Real War. It helped influence Ronald Reagan's foreign policies. And in January '94, I opened the Nixon Center for Peace and Freedom, also called the Center for National Interest. At the ribbon cutting ceremony, I said, the United States has won the Cold War, but it has not yet won peace.
Nixon passed away on April 22, 1994, and was laid to rest at his birthplace in Yorba Linda, California, next to his wife, Pat. Again, we at KSJ23 want to thank you, our viewers, for devoting your time and attention on an American who, yes, made choices in his presidency that affected him as well as the American people, but who also changed relationships around the world with China, the Middle East, and Russia. Thank you and good night.
No, we're
I
not.
don't know.
This is bloopers for
We're
Joseph.
not.
right,
Oh, this is
Joseph?
bloopers with Joseph. I know, right?
Bloopers with Joseph.
Laughing! It's so fun though at the same time.
25th anniversary. Can we just do it over? Okay.
You can have
I'll cut it.
Thank you and good night. Stay classy, San Diego.